G'day team and welcome back to Overheard in the Emergency Room. I'm Dr. Cois, emergency physician, evidence nerd, and your guide through the messy, fascinating world of medicine. Today is another quick hit, a short, punchy, listener-driven episode where you send me the questions and I pick them off one at a time. There's no 45-minute deep dives, no 4-pillar evidence frameworks, just the answers you actually asked for. And the question we're tackling today is one I get all the time in clinic, in the gym, and in the comments. What's the best way to train my VO2 max? It's a brilliant question and a timely one because if you've spent any time on health and fitness social media in the last couple of years, you would be forgiven for thinking the only legitimate way to train your cardiovascular system is to strap on a weighted vest and grind out an hour of zone 2 cardio every day. That's what the algorithm is selling. The data tells a very different story and is far more forgiving than that. Before we dive in, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so the next quick hit episode lands in your feed. And head over to drcois.com for the companion blog post, references, and free patient resources. Right, let's get into it. So here's the headline stat, and it's a sobering one. In the United States, roughly half of adults do not meet even the aerobic physical activity guidelines, the absolute baseline of 150 minutes a week of moderate intensity movement. And when you ask the tougher question, how many people meet both the aerobic and muscle strengthening guidelines, the number collapses to around 1 in 4. That matters because cardiorespiratory fitness and the single best summary number for it, your VO2 max, is one of the strongest predictors of all-cause mortality we have. People who carry higher VO2 max in middle age and beyond are people that are walking upstairs, playing with grandkids, and largely staying out of my emergency department. They are the people relatively free of the cluster I see every shift: heart attacks, stroke, atrial fibrillation, type 2 diabetes, overweight, and obesity. Cardiorespiratory fitness sits upstream of nearly all of it. If you want the full deep dive on the evidence, the meta-analyses, the dose response curves, the lifespan story, go back to episode 3 of the main season where we did exactly that. Today, we're zooming in on the practical question. How do you actually build VO2 max and what does the evidence say about the best way to do it? There are essentially 2 evidence-based vehicles for building cardiorespiratory fitness in the average adult. Vehicle number 1, zone 2 cardio. This is the one that social media is obsessed with right now. The idea is to spend roughly 60 minutes at a heart rate intensity that sits in the lower half of your aerobic range. You should be a little out of breath, but still able to hold a conversation. If you're gasping, you're too high. If you're fully comfortable, you're too low. Here's what social media won't tell you. When you look at the actual research comparing zone 2 to other forms of aerobic training, there is no strong evidence that zone 2 is superior for the average adult trying to improve their fitness. It's a way, but it's not the way. What zone 2 is extraordinarily good at is turning incidental movement into intentional training. When I counsel patients in the ED who haven't exercised in years, this is where I start. A 45 to 60 minute walk after dinner with the dog, with your partner, with your kids, at a pace where you're a little puffed but can still chat, that is zone 2. That is legitimate cardiorespiratory training. Do it on most days of the week and you have just banked almost the entire weekly aerobic recommendation. With your family, in nature, while decompressing from your day. It's an extraordinary return on investment. And vehicle 2, interval training. If you're further along, or you simply don't have an hour a day for walking, this is where intervals come in. And this is where, if you're a numbers person, the magic really happens. My favorite version, and the one I used with the athletes I coached, runs like this. After a proper warm-up, you do hard intervals of 2 to 8 minutes at around 90 to 95% of your maximum heart rate, with 2 to 4 minutes of easy recovery between. A typical starting block might look something like 3 sets of 3 minutes, hard with 2 to 3 minutes rest between each. The next week, make it 4 sets. The week after that, bump the work interval up. The week after that, bump it up again. What you see week by week is the VO2 max score climbing. often by 5 to 10 points over a training block. For an athlete already sitting at 55 to 65, that is a substantial physiologic shift. But two quick caveats. First, VO2 max, especially at the top end, is partly genetic. Lung volumes, mitochondrial density, muscle fiber type, these are not infinitely trainable. So if you're comparing yourself to an elite cyclist on Strava, take a breath. You're not them, and that's fine. Second, and this is the punchline, for the average person, intervals are an extraordinarily time-efficient way to exercise. 3 or 4 sets of 2 to 4 minutes with 2 minutes of rest between is done in half an hour, which means you have time on the same day to do 30 minutes of resistance training. Which brings me to the part nobody covers in the VO2 max conversation, resistance training. Both the Australian and US guidelines call for 2 or more strength sessions a week. Almost no one hits that. The benefits include muscular strength, bone density, glucose control. So if intervals free up your time, use it on the strength side of the ledger. So when I think about cardiorespiratory fitness, I think of 2 vehicles, both legitimate, both backed by evidence. Zone 2 is sociable, low barrier, and slots into your life. Intervals are sharper, more time efficient, and free up space for the resistance training most of us don't do enough of. Either route will get you to a similar place on the VO2 max curve. The best vehicle is the one you'll actually do. Pick one or both. Just get out there and do something. Now, a few quick actionable steps you can take that your ED doctor is thinking about while we're here. Take a lap around the neighborhood after your dinner. The lowest friction, highest return on investment exercise you will ever do. Bonus points for bringing the family. Get yourself out onto a trail. If you have a green space within driving or walking distance, use it. There is a small but growing body of evidence that time in nature drops cortisol, improves mood, and lowers blood pressure. On top of the movement itself, find something you genuinely love. Social soccer, aquarobics, Muay Thai, pickleball, dancing. The single best predictor of whether you'll still be exercising in 12 months' time is whether you actually enjoy it. Adherence beats optimization every single time. Mix it up. Your knees, your hips, your shoulders, they will thank you for the variety. Don't be attached to one modality. Engage with multiple. If you can do some form of exercise on most days of the week, you will already be performing better than roughly half of the American adult population who do not meet the aerobic activity guideline. Zone 2 works. Intervals work. The combination works best. The version you'll actually stick with is the one that wins. And this connects right back to tier 1 of our longevity blueprint, the non-negotiable foundation underneath nearly every chronic disease conversation we have on this show. Diet, sleep, mental health, your relationship with your primary care doctor, they all sit on a much stronger structure when you're moving regularly. Build the habit, defend the habit. Everything else gets easier from there. And that's your quick hit. If you got value from this, I've got 3 quick asks. 1, what's the next quick hit you want me to answer? Drop it in the comments, send it via the website, or DM me on socials. These episodes are entirely listener driven and the inbox is open. 2, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It really helps get our content out there. 3, share this episode with someone who keeps telling themselves they'll start exercising next Monday. Also, a heads up on something coming. We're launching a new format, Overheard Journal Club, a 10 to 15 minute deep dive into a single paper. Papers that I've found genuinely interesting over my career, or that have changed the way I practice medicine. This is where I find out who the real nerds in the audience are. It won't be for everyone, but if you've wondered what physicians actually read on holiday to get better at the job that they do, that's what these episodes will be about. Keep an eye out. For the full companion blog post, references, and free resources, head over to drcois.com. And if you want the deep dive on the exercise evidence base, the dose response curves, and the lifespan story, go back and listen to episode 3 of the main season. I'm Dr. Cois. Let's chase less bad days and more good decades together. See you next time, and hopefully not in my emergency department.